One. All right, we are live onto the YouTube. Welcome everybody. Phil Nagy on Sports, joined as always by Kit. If you are new to the channel here in the last 24 hours, this is what our ugly mugs look like. So we're excited to see you on as well. A lot of juice for the channel going on right now, which is pretty nuts. So we're super excited about it and really appreciative of it. But this is our pregame video, and it's specific to Browns and Chiefs because we are way into the Browns, and we know lots of things about the Browns and not so many things about the other teams. So if you want keys to the game on the other games, you're going to have to go elsewhere or give us more time to prepare. So without further ado, Kit, let's start off with our offensive keys to victory for the Browns in Arrowhead.
All right. So first, I mean, as everybody knows, this is a great team we're going up against, Super Bowl champs. There's a reason why that is. Very good team. So we're gonna have to play a really good game for this. So some of these keys, some of them may be more doable than others. We'll see how it all pans out for us tomorrow. But it's gonna be a challenging matchup for sure.
For sure.
On the offensive side here, it's going to start with the emphasis on the run. Really have to get that run game going. Looking to really, it actually is a matchup that we have an advantage, where we have a very good O-line, and they're a defense that does tend to give up some running lanes. So we really could do a lot of damage there. So we'll see how that. Of course, our tandem back there between Chubb and Hunt really makes a big difference too. Those guys are explosive. But I'd like to see both of those guys with 20 carries apiece. Because if we're doing that, that will really get us in a really good position to win this game. I'm not saying don't pass the ball, but on the other hand, that's really where we can take advantage of this defense, and then keep Patrick Mahomes off the field, which is an important part of winning this game because he's just so explosive, and he's got so many weapons to work with. So yeah, 20 carries apiece. Now, when I say 20 carries, I am including some of those short passes, because if it's not working up the middle, then the swing route out to Hunt, the screen pass to Chubb, whatever it is, some of those those will count in. It's effectively just a toss.
Touches.
Yeah, it's a toss to get to a run effectively. Get a guy out in space. It's really what you're trying to do there, which is good for us. For offensive, or the next key is going to be offensive efficiency, making sure that we are being effective and efficient with our drives. Not that I'm saying it's a bad thing for us to go out there and have a bunch of explosive plays, but actually it would be better in a lot of senses if we have more just consistent drives. Some chunk plays are going to be good here and there, even if that gets us to a touchdown way down the field, that's fine. But it is not we're not best set up for a shootout type game. So looking to have just efficient drives where we're getting good yardage, first and second down in particular, in order to set up easier conversion on third downs, or hopefully you've already picked up the first down, and then we're getting nice long drives out of our offense will be pretty key for us in this one. The next matchup to really exploit is probably the biggest disparity between these two teams is going to be in the red zone. This is the worst red zone defense in the NFL, and we've got one of the best red zone offenses in the NFL. So we need to have that killer mentality in the red zone. We cannot leave any points on the field. If we ever get in, even sniff the red zone, we need to be taking advantage of that and getting 7 on the board. That's going to be huge for us. The next key is going to be, it kind of goes into that efficiency key as well, but minimize punts. Again, this has to do with the idea of not leaving points on the field, but as much as we can. Not that I don't love Jamie Gillen. Scottish Hammer has been great for us, but I'd like him not to see the field. If we can see that would be great. So even though I like him, I don't want him out there if we can avoid it at all. Next key is getting into rhythm early. the earlier we can set ourselves in, get ourselves in that the offensive rhythm, that's going to be in the game plan that Stefanski comes out with. That's going to be getting, making sure Baker's comfortable out there, making, getting the ball kind of spread around, some of our playmakers, getting everybody kind of, corralled and into the offensive game plan and getting everybody going is going to be important for us getting in that rhythm, because we can't really afford guys to have, or too many guys having real quiet days. We don't want Higgy like last week where he was just dropping the ball, kind of inexplicably and kind of slowing down some of our drives. We can't afford that kind of stuff against a prolific offense like the Chiefs.
For sure.
And that really ties into the next key, which is really a consistency in the third quarter. We've seen over the last few games in particular, kind of coming out not sluggish, but just not as productive on offense kind of in that third quarter. And then we have to turn it on again in the fourth. That happened specifically against the Steelers in this last game where we had probably three drives, I think, where we really didn't do much. And that's, again, something you just can't afford to do against a team that feels like they can pretty much score at will. That, depending on what our defense does, that may not actually be the case, but we'll see. You don't want to go out there and leave them, gaps to come back in, if you will.
For sure.
And then the last key is something that we've been talking about, and it's really the same concept, but really we can't afford to let our foot off the gas at all in this one. Have to call an aggressive game. Got to get out there. Got to be productive. And you don't want to, even if you think you've put the Chiefs away, don't act like you've put the Chiefs away, because you never know, they can come back from crazy margins. So never letting our foot off the gas in this game.
Wow. 7? Did I count 7? 7 offensive keys today. Holy
that is
smokes.
7 today.
Wow. You are very, very specific on what they need to do to get this W. If we win, are you going to have 10 next week?
No, I don't think I will.
Gotcha.
I'll run out of space in my paper to do that.
That's right. All right. How about on the defensive side of the ball? How in the world do we try to slow down this incredible offense with just mismatches potentially all over the field?
Well, man, so only 5 here, but yeah, this is as everybody knows, this is an incredible offense, and plain and simple, you're not going to just stop them. You're not going to shut them out. You're not going to, they're going to score. They're going to get their chunk plays. They're going to do some things that no other teams can really do because they are the Chiefs and they have Mahomes and Kelce and Hill. And I mean, it's a crazy mix of guys they've got out there that are just, Hardeman could be a number 1 receiver in other teams. Right. So they got some great players, just crazy weapons left and right, and can do some crazy things with them. Fast. And very, very fast. So well schemed. I mean, let's be honest. Reed is a genius when it comes to offensive football, and they go out there and do wild things you've never seen in the NFL before, because that's the genius of Reed. He's just so good. So to start this one off, I'm going to focus on the matchup of Ward versus Hill. We really need Ward to lock Hill down as much as we can in this game. If we're able to get, he's not going to win them all. Hill is just too electric. He's not going to win them all. But the more that he can jam up at the line of scrimmage, take him off of the route, keep him from going deep and getting separation, the better off we're going to be in this one. So that Ward, that's definitely a matchup to watch, is that Ward versus Hill, and see what Hill's doing in the game. And if we can keep him from being too damaging, that'll be important for us.
Okay.
Second key may be one of the most important ones, and I've already mentioned this, but we cannot be blitzing Mahomes. Mahomes is plus 25 in PFF against the blitz. He's something like 138 QBR. When he's blitzed, it's nasty. He's so good against the blitz. You cannot afford to blitz him. In fact, back in the day when the Steelers really were Blitzburg, in as I think Mahomes' second ever game in the NFL, and they come in, with their constant blitz, and he just tore them apart because that's just how good he is against the blitz.
Yeah.
You cannot afford to be blitzing him. I mean, it seems counterproductive because we'll get guys back, and more pressure. You'll get to him, and then he produces sacks. But he's got two things working against the blitz. Number one, he's great at his reads. He's great at getting the ball out quick, and so the blitz usually doesn't have success getting to him. The other part of that too is the fact that that he is just, much like Lamar, he can scramble, and he is slippery. So he can get out of tight spaces and can go for a long way. And the problem with the blitz, if you don't have anybody, once he gets past that first level, there's 3-4 dudes, that now have to catch him. He could get easy 40, 50 yards. So got to be real careful with that, which leads directly to the next key, which is we have to be producing organic pressure all day. That's going to be, I know I've got this under the defensive key, but in all realism, this is probably the most important key of the day. It's a game key. It's going to, if we can produce pressure on Mahomes, we can win this game. If we cannot, we're probably not going to win this game. It really all is going to come down to that. If we can get our four guys in that organic pressure, to get pressure on Mahomes. Now, I will say we actually have a matchup advantage here. They've got some guys out. Schwartz is out, and they've got a patchwork offensive line, and that's really showed up for them in the last several games of the season, where kind of the rotational pieces that have kind of come in and out of that line have really, Mahomes has had to be a little bit more mobile and moving around the pocket than he's usually is of late, and they've been getting to him a little bit more. So you've seen a few more interceptions and a few more sacks on Mahomes. So if we can do that with our organic pressure and win that matchup in particular, that's really going to be massive for us and could lead to us winning the games, because that in particular could lead to some turnovers. For sure. So if Miles gets back there and has a day, this could be a really fun matchup for us. The next key here is going to be playing the game one snap at a time. Now, we talk about this 1-0 mentality all the time, and that's a really good mentality. This game in particular, because this offense is so good and so dynamic, sometimes players talk about going one snap at a time, but we're really going to have to do that on the defense. Erase everything that's happened prior to this snap and focus on doing your job in this moment, no matter what has come before, because you've got to do your job on the 1-inch line if they just passed a 80-yard bomb down to the 1-inch line. And that's just the way this one's gonna sort out, if you will. So we really have to do the go 1-0 on every snap in this game for the defense and kind of wipe your mind of everything else that's gone on, just because this offense can be so prolific. And then the last piece of this is just finding ways to stop the juggernaut. They are a juggernaut, absolutely, but finding ways. If that's a third down that we don't allow them to convert, or get close enough to go for it on fourth. If that's and if that leads to a field goal, that in this case is going to count as a stop. So if we force them to punt, if we force them to kick field goals, if we force them or turn the ball over on fourth downs, if they go for it, if we find those interceptions, whatever it is, somewhere in the game, we're going to have to do that in a handful of places. And if we can do that, we can win this game.
Okay. Do you have special teams key? Of course.
I do. So the first one on here, ideally we're not kicking field goals, but if we kick them, we got to have them. And every extra point on touchdowns for the field goal unit is, or for the extra point after touchdown unit is absolutely gold. Have to have them from Parkey. You can't miss any, because that could be the difference in the game. If we miss a single extra point, then that right there could be, the 1 point that Patrick Mahomes needs to beat you with, kind of thing. So we got to have them all. They're absolutely precious to us. Second key being kind of that field position thing again, but I'd love to see another strong showing from D'Ernest if we get the opportunity from the defense where they do punt. If D'Ernest Johnson and on the kickoff return, but if D'Ernest or I guess DPJ will probably be back there for the punt, but for strong showing from D'Ernest on the kickoff return, and from DPJ. But if we can get some good returns in this one, that will really help our offense and the scoring side of things, get us closer to that red zone where we're so effective. And then the really on the special teams, we have to just make the most of every opportunity out there. Any opportunity we're given on special teams, got to take advantage and do the best we can to really do the best, put the best stuff play out on the field as a special teams unit as we can.
Okay, just those two.
Just those three. Yeah.
Three. I missed the third one. Sorry. We got
making the most of every opportunity.
That's right. Thank you. Every opportunity. Okay, so I do want to shout out and say hello to a couple of people. Kit, someone has said specifically hi to you. Cristiano says hi, Kit.
Hello, how's it going?
He doesn't know that you can't see.
No, I can't see the
chat at this point, but we're super excited. We've got Kevin, who's been on many times, of course. Jason, one of our old friends, Tilted, is on. Caden is on, and then one of our new followers from yesterday, Rodney, who's a big Chiefs fan.
Cool.
So he's been countering all of your keys with, well, then you got to worry about him running. Well, then you got to do this and things like that. So,
yeah.
But
prolific offense for sure.
For sure. We got a couple of questions, and I will get those to you later. So, overall keys for a Browns dub.
Okay, so first of all, I think time of possession very well might win this game. Whoever ends up having the ball more in this game very much could win it. The trenches in particular, those are matchups that I like for the Browns. But if we really, really take advantage of those matchups, both on the offensive line and on the defensive line, winning in the trenches very well could go in the Browns' favor. So we'll see how that turns out. Really like our offensive line, as probably arguably the best in the NFL. And then the defensive line, Myles Garrett, if he's back to true form, we could see some good stuff. But then again, like I mentioned earlier, that organic pressure from Myles really is going to be the potential to be the hinge point of this game. If they're able to keep him away from Mahomes, and able to get it to Kelce, able to get it down the field to Hill or what have you, we could be in a lot of trouble. For the next key is true three-phase complementary football. We have to have purely complementary football. We're not going to win this game if our offense is on fire, but our defense is terrible. We're not going to win this game if our offense is not clicking. Obviously, we're not going to keep up with the Chiefs if our offense isn't clicking. And then special teams are clutch too. You got to have the special teams. Little mistakes like missing a PAT can be the difference in losing a game to the Chiefs. So we got to have that true three-phase complementary football. If we do get those turnovers, any of the turnovers, offense has got to take advantage of those, and so on. Next key is carrying the energy. Kind of do what you did to get here, right? You got here for a reason. You brought a lot of energy into this game. You got to carry that energy through this game, that momentum through this game, and bring it, because that's the way you're going to win, and hope that the Chiefs are maybe a little rusty, and that the energy that the Browns bring into the game is enough to carry us over the hump. And then the last piece is very much the same idea that I already kind of mentioned with the defense, but for the team at large. Play every snap like it's your last. Really leave everything out on the field. It's going to take quite an effort to win this game. I think it's possible. I think we do have some massive matchup advantages that could help us win this game, but we can't afford not showing up. We can't afford somebody blowing coverages. I mean, there's a lot of things we can't afford in this game.
For sure.
So everybody's got to play their game.
For sure. Okay, well, we've got a few questions. You actually kind of answered one about how to stop Hill, and you talked a little bit about Ward and just kind of doing his best. Is that a safety over the top, or do you just put Denzel out on an island and say, do your best, brother?
No, I think you give him some help. I think you have a safety over the top to help. Now, keep in mind our safeties are not as fast as you'd like them to be, other than Ronnie Harrison. But which, by the way, you should see. Don't go into this game thinking you're not going to see Ronnie Harrison like you didn't see him in the Steelers game. He only had 11 snaps in that one, but that was because they really, installed a brand new defense that they ran specifically for that game. And Harrison missed the practice, so he wasn't there for the install. So they only had him in on 11 snaps. He was there for all of practice, all three practices this week. So very much expect Harrison to be out there pretty much most of the game, if not all of it. So I don't know that Harrison is going to be the guy that is, he may be more up in the strong safety role in the box a little bit more. But you should see some help on a guy that is in a deep third or deep half, help over top.
Gotcha. And then the second question, similarly, what do you do with Travis Kelce?
Now that is a real big issue. We have decent linebackers but the problem is he's a nightmare in a matchup. Linebackers, safeties. Yeah. It doesn't matter who you put on him. He is going to be he really is that unicorn, like you said. There's not a lot you can do about a Kelce. Unfortunately, you can try to take him out of his route by playing him up on the line a little bit, a little bump and run up front. You could do a little bit of the shading coverages to help linebackers out to expected routes. But realistically, Kelce's going to be a problem. There's not somebody you can dedicate to him and say, you've got this guy and take him out of the game. That yes, you can somewhat do that with Hill, but you're not going to be able to do that with Kelce. So the best you can really hope for in that kind of situation is that there are times where you're able to take him away, where he might have made the difference in them, converting a first down. And if you're able to do that, then great. Then maybe that isn't a converted first down, and it's a punt or something. The other way that you mitigate Kelce, and really this is the only other way that you can take away the threat that the Chiefs bring to the table, is really what we already talked about on that defensive front, that organic pressure. If you're able to get to Mahomes before Mahomes can get the ball to Kelce, that's how you win. But that's going to be the most likely of the ways that you take Kelce away successfully. But he's incredibly hard to take away, especially with a guy, putting bullets on him. He throws BBs right between the numbers, no matter how he's throwing the ball, pressured, back foot, on the run. Doesn't really matter. And then Kelce's going to catch everything. And then he's also great in the yards after catch. So no, he is great. And there's not a lot you can do about him. So
sure. Is having a good day tackling part of that? Like, hey, he's going to get his catches, but then we got to get him on the ground.
Yes, absolutely. That's a good point. Getting the solid tackling, and he's a big body. He's a tight end. He runs routes like a receiver, but he definitely has the body of a tight end.
Yep.
So he is hard to bring down. But we're going to have to get some of those those solid tackles on him, good form tackles to bring him to the ground, and then really bringing in the cavalry as much as we can, run to the ball, get that kind of the 11 orange helmets on the ball kind of thing as much as possible. Now, realistically, you're going to get all 11, no, but if that means you can get 3 there, get 3. If you can get 4, get 4.
Absolutely.
And don't give up on a play just because you think it's over. Play through the whistle.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we got a lot of Kelce love for sure. There's people saying, yeah, you can't stop him. You just got to try to slow him down.
Yep, that's exactly true.
For sure. So, all right. Well, let's get out of here on this one. The official sim score yesterday in our sim, exciting as it was with 1,000 people watching it, did end 34-25 Chiefs. What is the official Nagy on Sports score prediction for tomorrow?
All right. Well, if we hit our keys, and that's a big if in this game, I'm gonna leave that out.
We've never if before.
We have to hit our keys in this one, though. We can't afford to miss a lot of keys to win this game. But if we win, I see the Browns have a path to victory in this one. 31-28 Browns.
31-20. Wow, that would be low scoring. Rodney says it's going to be 56-50 tomorrow.
That would be a shootout that I don't think the Browns want to be in.
Yes, no, that would
which is why I have a lower score. But realistically, yes, a 31-28 sounds like most games that's a fairly high scoring game, but in these two teams, that's a low scoring game.
For sure. It would get the over, though. I think the over is 56, maybe.
Yeah, I think it is 56.
Something like that. Not that I do that kind of thing, but
no.
Some people definitely do, and we are not the channel for betting advice. I promise you that.
No.
So, all right. Well, we really appreciate being on. Everybody that joined the stream here this evening and asked questions. Fun chatting with you, making new friends like Rodney, the Chiefs fan. And tomorrow we will be frenemies, Rodney. Sorry. But appreciate all that. Again, my name's Phil, my cousin Kit there, bringing it to you. And regardless of what happens tomorrow, Kit and I will do a post-game video to break it down, see how many of these keys they did hit or did not hit, and what the future holds, whether it's time to start looking at the offseason and what the kinds of things that we will do are, or whether it's on to Buffalo/Baltimore, both of which look very beatable right now if you're watching this game. But,
sure.
And yes, Rodney is convinced that whoever wins the game tomorrow, Chiefs or Browns, that team will win the Super Bowl. So that would be crazy.
There's definite path to that. I could definitely see it. I think the NFC is incredibly weak this year. The AFC is stacked. They have some great teams, and the way that this game is going on over here with the Ravens and the Bills, I think the winner of this game should have the momentum to potentially take either one of those teams out. So, yeah, I think there's a definite path to seeing the Super Bowl victor come out of this game.
Excuse me. Yeah, and it's pretty crazy with the young quarterbacks on the AFC side, and then you're going to get Rodgers and either Brady or Rodgers and Breeze. So you're going to have Old Man River on the other side versus some young buck on this side. So old school, new school. We'll see what happens. So again, really appreciate it. Thank you to all the subscribers, the 200 or so of you that have joined in the last day. Really appreciate that. You guys have been awesome. Of course, all of the original fans and my very best friend, Tom, of course, Seipel Strong, who was subscriber number 1 to the channel and is still fighting cancer and still messaging Baker Mayfield every day. He says he feels good. They're going to be ready to go. So it's pretty wild there. But Browns and Chiefs, it's on. It's very exciting. And gosh, I just still feels like we're gambling with house money. I could not have guessed that we would have been here at this point, but here we are. And now we have expectations and it's time to go deliver. So we'll get out of here the way that we always do, Kit. And together we say, go.